All right, so this is my Week 18 NBA Power Rankings. So let's get started. You got a whole bunch of injuries and stuff coming off the All-Star break. The Hawks are getting Clint Capella back, losing Ndeke Congo for a week. They're going to lose Trae Young for about 4 weeks. That's about all the way until April at that point. Sixers losing Robert Covington for 3 more weeks. Blazers going to get Moses Brown back this week potentially. Malcolm Brogdon's going to be out for another couple of weeks, though. Pistons, Isaiah Stewart's going to be suspended for a couple of games, maybe even indefinitely, depending on how this court ruling goes. Quentin Grimes is back now. Marcus Sasser's going to be out for a week, though, for that. Warriors are going to get Chris Paul back, who has not played since beginning of January. Wizards lost Isaiah Livers for the season. Nets are getting Deron Sharp back, which is good. Knicks are gonna get Julius Randle and OG Anunoby be missing them for a couple more weeks. There was some speculation they could potentially be coming back the first week of March, but now it's going to be probably mid to late March at the earliest. Lakers, Cam Reddish is questionable this week. Max Christie is back playing now, but they also lost Christian Wood for a couple of weeks. Grizzlies got Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane out for about 3 more weeks. Potentially, they said they could have returned first week of March, but now it's going to be mid to late March as well. Probably, potentially even ended up just being out the whole season because, they would have nothing to play for if they came back in the middle of March. They also did get Jake LaRavia back, which is good. The Bulls lost Patrick Williams for the season. Torrey Craig out for 2 to 4 weeks, and they already have Zach LaVine out for the season. Still got a whole bunch of injuries there for the Bulls. Rockets got Evan Lee back, which is good, but they also lost Tari Eason indefinitely. He got Jimmy Butler back. Terry Rozier, Josh Richardson are questionable this week, and Thomas Bryant is going to be suspended for a couple of games. So getting into a ranking at number 30, you got the Wizards, who are 9-48. Went 0-4 this week, have lost 11 straight games. And then I just got my stat leaders over here, which you can look at if you wish. Number 29 is going to be the San Antonio Spurs, who are 0-4 this week, 11-47 overall for the Spurs. They're not a very good team. They lost to the Mavs, Kings, Lakers, and Jazz. So they played, some good teams in there, but still ended up getting 0 wins. Number 28 is going to be the Detroit Pistons, who are 8-49, 0-5 in the week. Not a good team at all here for the Pistons, obviously. Lost to the Lakers, Suns, Pacers, Magic, and Knicks. Knicks game, was definitely questionable, but still ended up being a loss. Number 27 is going to be the Portland Trail Blazers, who are 0-4 on the week, have now lost 8 straight games, bringing their record to 15-41. Definitely not a good week there. And, losing Malcolm Brogdon for a couple of more weeks does not help. Number 26 is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies, who are 2-2. They snapped a 9-game losing streak, so that's good. And they're now 20-38 overall. They got plenty of issues with their health and stuff, obviously. They did beat the Rockets and the Bucks this week, which is good. But then they ended up losing to the Clippers and getting destroyed by the Nets. Number 25 is going to be the Atlanta Hawks, who are 25-32 and 1-2 on the week. It's just that they lost Trae Young for about a month or so. So that's definitely not good when they're sitting there at the 10 seed, trying to stay alive in the play-in race. Losing your best player for about a month is definitely not going to be very helpful. Number 24 is going to be the Chicago Bulls in a similar position to the Atlanta Hawks, 27-30, sitting there right at the 9 seed right now. But they ended up losing Torrey Craig for a few weeks, and Patrick Williams is now going to be injured for the season. And they also already have Zach LaVine injured for the season. So they got plenty of injuries on their team right now. As a team that's just trying to fight to stay into that play-in seed. So, them and the Hawks definitely are definitely going to have their other guys step up if they want to be able to stay alive in this play-in race. Which brings me to number 23, the Brooklyn Nets, who are 1-4 on the week, 22-35 overall. They are looking in like a way better position than they were a couple of weeks ago because, they only have to. Right now they're 3 games behind the Hawks, but the Hawks being without Trae Young and the Bulls having their own injuries as well. The Brooklyn Nets are in prime position to, go on a little bit of a run here and potentially work their way up into the play-in spots. Number 22 is going to be the Utah Jazz, who went 1-3 on the week, 27-31 overall right now. They're sitting, about 3 games behind the Warriors for that last play-in seed, and I don't really expect them to be able to close in that gap all too much. They lost to the Lakers and Warriors this week, which would have been some very, very important games considering those are the two teams they're going to be fighting with for that last play-in spot. Number 21 is going to be the Houston Rockets, who went 1-3 on the week, are now 25-32 overall. They're sitting about 5 games back from the Warriors, and about 2 games back from the Utah Jazz. But this week, they lost to the Grizzlies and Pelicans, but they did end up beating the Suns, which is really good. And they got Fred VanVleet back from injury, which obviously is going to be very helpful. Number 20 is going to be the Charlotte Hornets, actually, who went 3-1 on the week, have now won 5 of their last 6 games, which is really, really good to see from them, considering they're 15-42, one of the worst records in the league, but they've been one of the best teams in the league record-wise over the last couple of weeks. So it's really, really good to see for the Charlotte Hornets. Definitely did not expect to see them coming all the way up here to number 20 on this list, but they beat the Hawks by 23, beat the Jazz by 8, lost to the Warriors, and then beat the Blazers. So it didn't really play like any great teams, but still played really, really solid all week long. Number 19 is going to be the Toronto Raptors, who are 22-36. They went 3-1 on the week. They're sitting only like 3.5 games out of the play-in seed to the Hawks. So them and kind of like the Nets are in prime position to go on a little bit of a run here, which currently they're 3-1 the last week is a pretty good run in itself. But if you continue to go on a little bit of a run here, they could very easily find themselves snagging that 10 seed spot from the Atlanta Hawks. Number 18 is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 33-24, went 1-3 on the week. Definitely not looking like a great team here without Joel Embiid. They lost to the Heat this week. They lost to the Knicks. They did beat the Cavs, then they lost to the Bucks by over 20 points. They signed Darius Bazley to a 10-day deal, so I think it could be a decent rotational piece for them, I guess. That's probably a good signing because Robert Covington, I believe, was injured for a few more weeks, so that's probably what the thought process is there. But yeah, they're definitely gotta go on a little bit of a better winning streak here if they want to be able to stay alive in the top 6, because they're only about 2 games away from falling all the way back to the 8 seed when they're currently sitting at the 5 seed. Number 17 is going to be the New York Knicks, who went 2-2 on the week, 35-23 overall. Sitting there at the 4 seed right now, looking pretty solid in that spot as it stands right now. But they also have plenty of injury issues as well to their roster, which might make it hard to stay above some of those teams. But you played pretty solid this week. You lost to the Magic by 18 and the Celtics by 14, but then you ended up beating the Sixers, which is a good win there. Considering that you guys are fighting for the 4 and 5 seed, that was a really good win for seeding purposes. Number 16 is going to be the Lakers, dropping 5 spots here, went 3-2 on the week, are now 31-28 overall. But for the Lakers, you beat the Pistons, you beat the Jazz, you beat who else? The Spurs. So not really any great teams there, but you got 3 good wins. I mean, you lost to the Warriors and the Suns. Number 15, we're going to have the Warriors, who are 29-27. They went 3-2 on the week, currently standing half a game behind the Lakers for the 10 seed, and then 3 games above the Jazz for the 11 seed. So getting that win over the Lakers was definitely good. It could be a real difference maker towards the end of the season when it comes down to your tiebreaker spots there. But other than the Lakers, you lost to the Clippers by 5, which is not bad. You lost to the Nuggets, and then you beat the Jazz as well, which is pretty good. And then you also have to get Chris Paul back for your team, which is going to be really, really good for you guys. Number 14 is going to be the Orlando Magic, who went 3-2 on the week. I thought they played pretty solid. They're currently sitting here at the number 8 seed in the East, but they're only 2 games away from being able to jump all the way up to the number 5 seed. So definitely have some potential to climb their way back up there. They lost to the Thunder this week, lost to the Hawks, but they beat the Knicks, Cavs, and Pistons, so pretty decent week there for the Magic. Number 13 is going to be the Pacers, who are 3-1 on the week, 33-26 overall, currently tied with the Heat here. For the 6th seed, they are currently listed as a 7th seed, only 1/2 of a game above the Magic there, so definitely could be going anywhere else. They're within 1 game of the 5 seed and 1 game of the 8 seed, so bad week this week could definitely make the difference between the 5 seed or the 8 seed currently for the Indiana Pacers. Number 12 is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks, who are 37 and 21. They went 2-1 on the week. I mean, they're playing like solid basketball, but nothing too great. They're currently 2 games above the Knicks for the 3 seed, 1 game behind the Cavs there. So I'm in a decent spot there, but they have not been a great team here without or since the hiring of Doc Rivers. They did sign Danilo Gallinari this week, so hopefully he can be a good piece there for the Milwaukee Bucks. But you lost to the Grizzlies this week. You lost to the Heat by a lot. Then you beat the Sixers and the Timberwolves. So a good win over the Timberwolves, but a bad loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. Just screams Doc Rivers to me. Number 11 is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans, who went 2-2 on the week. They're actually going to drop 6 spots here. That is because Dyson Daniels is now going to be out for about 4 more weeks, and Jose Alvarado suspended for about 3 games. So definitely some a little bit of issues there. And you went 2-2 on the week, which is not bad, but you lost to the Bulls and the Heat, and beating the Rockets and the Wizards there. Number 10 is going to be the Denver Nuggets, who went 3-1 on the week, are now 39 and 19. And they're only 1.5 games away from being the number 1 seed, currently sitting at the 3 seed and 1 game ahead of the 4 seed. Number 9 is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers, who are 37 and 19, went 2-2 on the week, sitting 1 game behind the Nuggets, at the 4 seed right now, 4 games ahead of the Suns for the who are the 5 seed. So the Clippers this week, they beat the Warriors, and they beat the Grizzlies, but they lost by 20 to the Thunder, and they lost by 16 to the Sacramento Kings. Number 8 is going to be the Sacramento Kings. Put them right above the Clippers because they did get the head-to-head victory there. They're 33 and 24, which is solid. 3-2 on the week, pretty good. Currently sitting at the 7 seed, but they're within half a game of jumping all the way up to the 5 seed, and they're currently tied with the Mavericks as well, who are the 8 seed. So this week could be the difference between being the 5 seed or being the 8 seed. So definitely, needed to get some wins here for the Sacramento Kings. They lost to the Suns this week. They beat the Nuggets and the Spurs and the Clippers, and then lost to the Heat. Number 7 is going to be the Phoenix Suns here because they, got the head-to-head win over the Sacramento Kings. They went 3-2 on the week. Same position as the Pelicans here. They're currently the 5 seed, tied with the Pelicans, 4 games behind the Clippers there, and then only half a game ahead of the 8 seed Dallas Mavericks. So like I said, with the Kings, a good week this week could definitely keep them here at the 5 seed, or a bad week could drop them all the way down to the 8 seed. So definitely a really interesting playoff race there for the middle 4 teams of the Western Conference. Number 6 is going to be the Dallas Mavericks, who, like I just said, are currently the 8 seed, but only half a game away from being the 5 seed. So why they're going to jump up all the way up here to number 6, even though they're only the 8 seed in their respective conference, it's mainly because they played pretty good. They beat the Suns this week, so I thought they should go right above the Suns because of that head-to-head. They beat the Spurs by a lot and lost to the Pacers, who are a pretty solid team in their own right. So a lot of parity over here in the Western Conference. Number 5 is going to be the Miami Heat, who went 4-0 on the week, 32 and 25 overall, went up 11 spots in my rankings this week. They're currently sitting at the 6 seed, tied with the Pacers for the 7 seed, but only like 2.5 games away from being the number 4 seed. And looking at the teams above them, the Sixers have injury issues, the Knicks have injury issues, so they're very well, with another 4-0 week this week, could very well find themselves all the way up at the number 4 spot. Reason I'm going to have them all the way here at number 5 is because I thought they played really, really good basketball this week. Obviously, going 4-0 is good. They beat the Bucks by 26 points this week, beat the Sixers by 5, beat the Pelicans by 11, and they beat the Sacramento Kings also by 11 without having Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic. They were missing a bunch of players in that game versus the Kings, and were still able to get a really good win there. So because of that, and they signed DeLon Wright, who made his first start last night, and he played pretty solid. So because of that, I feel like the Heat, if they play like they did this week, obviously they'll, be one of the better teams in the league. Number 4 is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were 2-2 on the week, 37 and 19 overall. Still the number 2 seed in the East. one game ahead of the Bucks. They're 7.5 games behind the Celtics. No one's going to be catching them. But the Cavs are still a really solid team. Not the best week this week specifically. Beat the Bulls by 3, lost to the Magic by 7, lost to the Sixers by 7, and then beat the Wizards by 9. So not a great week this week, but I couldn't really see myself dropping them below the Miami Heat. That just did not feel right to me. So they're going to find themselves here at number 4. Still definitely one of the best teams in the league, even if they did not have the most impressive week this week. At number 3, we're going to have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are currently the 1 seed, but have the exact same record as Oklahoma City Thunder, and then only a 1.5 game lead over the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets. But still a really, really good team, obviously, sitting there at 40-17. They beat the Blazers twice this week, lost to the Bucks by 5, and beat the Nets. They also signed Justin Jackson to a 10-day deal. Next up is going to be Oklahoma City Thunder, who I said are tied with the Timberwolves for that number 1 seed. They've been playing really good basketball all season long. Beat the Magic this week, beat the Clippers by 20, beat the Wizards by 40, and beat the Rockets. And they did cut Alexis Pokusevski from their team. Wasn't really playing a whole lot, so not really going to make too much of a difference. But they're definitely, I think, the best team currently in the Western Conference, but obviously there's a lot of really, really good teams here in the Western Conference. Number 1 is obviously going to be the Boston Celtics, who are 45-12, 4-0 on the week, have 8 straight wins right now. Beat the Nets twice, beat them by 8, and then beat them by 50. Beat the Bulls by 17 and beat the Knicks by 14. So they played really, really good basketball all season long, and this week was no different. So our top performers here, Jason Tatum put a 40-piece, Bam had a triple-double, Anthony Edwards had a 40-piece, Sabonis had a 35-point triple-double, and then another 17-point triple-double. Anthony Davis had 20 points, 14 boards, and a 6-block game. Then he had a 37 and 15 game. Hold up. Then you have Dia put up a 40-piece with 15 boards. Yeah, that should be 15 rebounds there with Anthony Davis. My bad. But yeah, Curry had a 40-piece with 9 threes. Luka had a 40-point near triple-double there. Jokic had a 20-20 game almost with 15 assists on 10 of 10 shooting. Amazing. Then a 32-point triple-double there with 16 boards and 16 assists with 4 steals. So Jokic is just insane. Wemby had 2 separate 5-steal, 5-block games this week, which is freaking insane. Bol put up 25 and 14 in only 26 minutes, so good to see him actually get some good playing time and a good performance there. DeAndre Ayton had a 26 and 19, a near 20-20 game there. Scottie had a 20-point triple-double with 5 blocks. And Yusuf Nurkic nearly had a 20-20 game with 18 boards and 22 rebounds to go along with 7 assists. So next up here, our award races right now, we got MVP is Jokic, then Shea, then Luka is going to jump up above Giannis to 3, while Giannis slides to 4, and then Tatum's going to jump up into the top 5 here. Rookie of the Year is going to stay the exact same, except we're going to get Brandon Podziemski up there at number 5. So we got Wemby, Chet, Brandon Miller, Jaime Jaquez, and Brandon Podziemski. Most Improved Player, Tyrese Maxey stays at 1. Kobe White and Kuminga jump up to 2 and 3, without Princeton Goon dropping from 2 to 4. And then you got Jalen Williams from OKC jumping up there to number 5. 6th Man of the Year, his top 3 stays the same with Malik Monk, Tim Hardaway, and Norman Powell. We're going to get Karis LeVert jumping up 1 spot to number 4, and then Russell Westbrook actually up to number 5. So you got 2 different Clippers on that list. Our Clutch Player of the Year, you got Stephen Curry staying at 1. Shea's going to jump up above Dame to 2, while Dame drops to 3. DeMar's going to jump up all the way to number 4, and Luka's going to come up to number 5. Defensive Player of the Year, Gobert at 1 stays there. Jared Allen stays at 2. Wemby is going to jump all the way from about 6 up to number 3. Then we got Chet staying at number 4, and AD is going to round out the number 5 there. And then Coach of the Year, you got Mark Daigneault and Chris Finch staying at 1 and 2. Joe Mazzulla is going to jump up to number 3 there, with JB Bickerstaff and Tyronn Lue dropping 1 spot each to number 4 and number 5. But yeah, that is going to be the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out any other videos.